Deion Sanders CU Buffs get upsetting transfer portal news after big update on five-star Xavier Griffin. Well, Deion Sanders must now be fighting a feeling of emptiness. That's because he is now left with an empty nest after his sons left for the Pro League. Plus, he must be replaying the mishaps of the 2025 NFL Draft that he did not expect to witness even in his wildest dreams. Amidst all this gloom, Deion receives some news that is surely going to uplift his mood. To him, the transfer portal has been too traumatic in the past, thanks to his former player, Cormani McClain, and how he dragged Coach Prime through the mud. Unfortunately, Deion is not going to get over the transfer portal trauma anytime soon. Here comes some upsetting news, as Colorado lost the race to land the commitment from a star offensive lineman. Does this rob Deion of all hope? No. After all, the Buffaloes now have some unfinished business with five-star Xavier Griffin. Like other programs, Deion's Colorado had to go through a tough phase. In this cycle of the transfer portal, they lost 14 players. The Buffs even lost 4 players who had hit the exit door in one single day. But as we all know, Deion is not someone who would sit idly to pester over the losses. With this, Coach Prime flipped the script and now owns 26 transfer portal commitments. His haul also consists of 3 4-stars. This immediately boosted Colorado's incoming transfer class to rank at number 30 nationally and number 2 in the Big 12 Conference. But guess what? Deion is likely far from finished building his 2025 transfer class. But the universe had other plans. Their hot target Kansas State offensive lineman star, Brandon Snee, committed to UAB on May 17. The 6'7" and 320-pound phenom began his collegiate career at D2 Elizabeth City State before transferring to Wagner in 2024. Playing for just one season in the FCS, he transferred to Kansas State in January, only to jump into the portal this spring. Now, was it an easy chase for Deion to bring home Snee? No way. Since re-entering the portal, he was hailed by Southern Miss, UAB, Missouri State, North Texas, Akron, Washington State, and New Mexico State. But the desperation for Deion to land Snee was building up. After all, the wheels of the Buffs' offensive linemen's room fell off. Zechariah Owens was the latest addition to the lineman exodus who broke the Colorado ties. The list, winter and spring combined, also includes Jay Gardenhire, Cash Cleveland, Khalil Benson, Hank Zilinskas, Ethan Boyd, Tyler Johnson, Yakiri Walker, and Peyton Kirkland. Deion had some kind of hope that Snee would choose them. That's because after Snee's official visit in January, he tweeted, "Had a great official visit at CU at Deion Sanders, #AGTG, #ScoBuffs, #TicketNow." So Coach Prime must have already been envisioning Snee filling the void that Deion's squad must be feeling at the moment. He possesses elite measurables at 6 feet 7 inches and an 84-inch wingspan. Talking about his numbers on the gridiron, the Philadelphia native posted an 81 pass blocking grade and a 72.4 run blocking grade on Pro Football Focus. This commitment would have been the perfect boost for Deion to whitewash this image. Snee allowed a single sack last season, whereas Shadur was the most sacked QB for the second year in a row. However, it will be wise for Deion to move on and focus on his next assignment. Deion Sanders wasted no time in rolling out the red carpet. While most of the players are decommitting out of their own will, things are a bit different for Griffin. The 5-star recruit out of Gainesville High School chose USC as it checked multiple boxes. The influx of coaches with the NFL tags in the Trojans' defensive staff aligned perfectly with his long-term plans. However, the young chap had to tap on the exit button. That's because Lincoln Riley has become very particular about his players after losing 28 players to the transfer portal. Analyst Tim Prangley gave a better view of the current situation. USC is going with this new approach of when you commit, that's it. We don't want you taking any more visits. However, Griffin has shown his desire to schedule official visits elsewhere and thus had to pull his pledge from USC. That's when Deion seized the golden chance. On May 16th, Colorado dished out an offer to Griffin. But will this be an easy chase? Deion Sanders will now be running the race with veterans like Kalen DeBoer and Kirby Smart. Well, any day Alabama Crimson Tide and Georgia Bulldogs will be a top priority given their historic past plated with gold. Griffin is expected to take several official visits this summer, most notably to Tuscaloosa on June 6th. And what about Georgia? Well, Dion's task will now be to woo Griffin, who hails from Gainesville, Georgia, and might choose to stay close to home. It's time for the Buffs HC to drink in some Red Bull and get into the field, pulling off a celebrity treatment just like they did for Julian Lewis. Can we expect another burger named after Griffin? Warren Sapp's daughter shares four-word Buccaneers message after dad's eight-figure admission, while QB killer Warren Sapp is out in Boulder barking orders as Colorado's new pass rush coordinator. His daughter Mercedes, aka Seed Sapp, is bossing it in a whole different game. She's not crashing pockets, but she's crashing old-school thinking around NL, branding, and athletic empowerment at South Florida. And when she's not helping athletes find their value, she's out here reminding everyone who her squad is. Seed Sapp is getting some sun at St. Pete Beach, Florida, but she didn't miss out on showing her loyalty to her team, Warren Sapp's old team. The former defensive tackle's daughter has been a big Tampa Bay fan for a while now. We saw it on draft day when the Buccaneers picked Emeka Egbuka at number 19. Seed was really excited about him, totally fangirling. Then she posted about the other picks too, like Jacob Parrish and Benjamin Morrison. Now, she's at it again. On her Instagram story on May 17th, she took a picture of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers pirate logo sitting on a license plate. Her four-word caption summed up her pledge: Bucks or die, baby. In an era where even lifelong fans jump ship when a QB throws 3 picks, that kind of ride-or-die energy hits different. And this isn't just some casual shout-out. Seed Sapp is all out spreading love everywhere. In her previous story, she gave props to her former school, North Florida, after the Ospreys softball team knocked off number 25 ranked Virginia in a gritty 2-1 win, marking their first ever NCAA tournament victory. That's right, North Florida, the number 3 seed in the NCAA Columbia Regional, handed the number 2 seeded Cavaliers a fat L to punch their way into the NCAA conversation. It was also their first win over a Power 4 and top 25 team all season. Big-time celebration. Meanwhile, back at her current school in South Florida, Seed Sapp's got her fingerprints all over the Bulls women's baseball program, which clinched the 2025 AC Championship. She didn't need a press release. Just hit IG with a 3-word show of excitement. Yes, yes, yes. And let's be real, Warren Sapp's daughter is building blueprints for what student-athletes can be. NIL education? Check. DI initiatives? Check. Financial literacy, personal branding, real-life prep? She's cooking. She's doing it all while keeping her dad's edge. And as she's grinding and winning behind the scenes, her dad's been keeping it just as real, but with a bit more fire. Warren Sapp shrugs at a potential $25 million income. When Warren Sapp sat down with Howard Eskin, he didn't flinch when he was asked the highest number he made in the NFL. 6.6, I think, he said. Chump change nowadays. That's what the host called that paycheck. And even threw out what the Pro Hall of Famer might possibly be getting in 2025, which is an 8-figure number of $25 million. But the Buffs PRC didn't bite. He knows it's relative. I had a bust in Ohio, I have a statue in Tampa, and my name sits in 3 NFL stadiums, and one of them is on a Saturday afternoon, so I'm good, Warren Sapp said. And when people try to play the comparison game, bringing up Aaron Donald's $30 million paycheck, he had his rebuttal locked and loaded. I say, well, I wasn't 6 times the player that Joe Green was, and he only made $1 million and I made 6. So, it's all relative, you know. That's the Sapp mindset. No bitterness, no envy, just legacy over currency. And with Seed Sapp carrying that same fire into college athletics, don't be surprised if the Sapp name keeps echoing through Florida.